The following program is presented by the Metropolitan Library Service Agency.
Hello, welcome to All About Kids, a program focusing on the interests of children and young people and some of the issues affecting them. School-age childcare, programs to help parents enhance their parenting skills, opportunities for youngsters to explore their communities are all part of community education programs in different parts of the state. Today we'll be talking with Mallory Jacobson, Director of Kids Quest, a school-age childcare program in the city of Bloomington, and Carol Huttner, Director of the Bloomington-Richfield Family Center, and with Lois Andersen, Children's Services Librarian for the Oxboro Library in Bloomington.
A study on the condition of teaching published in 1988 by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching stated some startling facts. 86% of the Minnesota teacher respondents worried about disruptive classroom behavior. 80% were concerned with absenteeism. 88% saw evidence of apathy in the classroom. 94% found abused or neglected children in class. 68% cited poor student health as a problem, and 72% stated student undernourishment as a concern. 59% felt drugs were a problem in the schools. 61% felt alcohol abuse was the problem, and 90% said lack of parental support was the problem. Much of this is attributed to changing family mores in our society. What, if anything, can community-based education do to help heal some of these problems? A recent editorial by Harlan Cleveland in the Minneapolis Sunday Tribune stated, and I quote, "The public schools cannot be schools alone. They are also the centerpiece of every United States community. They are going to have to take the lead in organizing their communities to tackle the dilemma of the knowledge society." Several suburban communities are trying to offer some potential answers through a variety of programs under the heading Community Education. Bloomington is one of these communities. No longer is Community Ed a title for arts and crafts classes for a few interested adults. It's now filling a gap for people from birth until death. Carol, as the coordinator of the Bloomington-Richfield Family Center, what is your perception of community education?
I see community education as an extension or another piece of the lifelong learning picture. As community educators, we believe that learning begins at birth and continues on through the rest of a person's life. A lot of times when people think of education, they think of a school building, a school bus, and the K-12 classroom. And as community educators, we offer a variety of programs that extend beyond that classroom situation. In Bloomington's community education program, we have three major initiatives that we concentrate on, and one of those is adult learning, one of those is family education, and one of those is youth enrichment. So we cover the entire gamut.
Great. How is the community involved other than as participants?
One of the things I think that makes community education unique and gets me the most excited about it is that we have community involvement. We have community advisory councils, excuse me, that help us to plan and assess and evaluate the kinds of programs that our community needs. And we get a much better feeling for that from community members versus the staff people that we work with. So that's a real plus to our community ed program.
So they really are community centered then?
We try very hard to get a cross-section of the community and have the community represented, anywhere from the homemaker to the business person to minority populations, the older adults, all of those kinds of things is a goal of ours.
Great. To get into specifics, what are some of the kinds of activities offered for the 0 to 5 age group and their parents?
One of my responsibilities is family education, and we have a variety of programs that serve the birth to 5 population. The majority of our programs have a parenting component as well as a parent-child interaction. And for the most part, people will come to a class. The classes may be for infants or for dads, single parents, a variety of classes. And there's a component that deals with child development and parenting, and there's also a part of that parents and children interact together, do activities that they can do at home.
Mm-hmm. So the major focus then is family-centered rather than child-centered, would you say?
Exactly. The family is the high priority. We find that if you just deal with the child, that you don't have the impact that you have if you deal with the entire family system. And our goal is to strengthen families through education and support.
Mm-hmm. Nearly 500,000 teenagers will become mothers this year. Are there any special helps for these teenage parents?
We're very involved in a program that's co-sponsored by the Vocational Technical College, whereas mothers who are teens are finishing their high school degrees or diplomas, and they too take parenting classes on a regular basis from us. It's very difficult, I think, when you're young and you're still working on your own needs to meet the needs of a child. So we go into their classrooms and offer parenting education. We also do home visits, and they're welcome to be involved in our program as participants.
Mm-hmm. In your community ed brochure, there's something called business education partnerships. What does that mean?
That's fairly new. We do a variety of programming cooperating with businesses, bringing Bloomington Public Schools and Bloomington area businesses together. In the area of family education, we offer parenting seminars at the workplace. It might be a one-time situation. It might be bag lunch classes during the work hour. We also can set up resource centers right at the business site so that people have the opportunity to be the best parents they can be.
Sounds great. Are there fees for these programs?
The majority of our programs are based on a sliding fee scale, and people pay what they can afford. No one is turned away from our program for inability to pay.
Oh, good, good. Is cooperation with other agencies a necessary component of your programs?
I think that is one of the things that contributes the most to the success of our program and community ed in general, is that there's really a commitment to provide the best possible service to the community, and the public schools can't do that alone. The library systems, public health, businesses and social service agencies must work together in order for us to be able to afford to provide the kind of services that community members need.
According to another Carnegie survey, 55% of U.S. school children go home to an empty house every afternoon. Termed latchkey children, many working parents just can't find adequate or affordable child care for school-age kids. Mallory, how does Bloomington Community Ed attempt to address this problem?
We began with a pilot program in the 87-88 school year. It was a pilot inspired by parents themselves who came to the school board and inquired about the availability. Again, a lot of grassroots. There was a principal and a teacher and parents and people from other daycare centers on that task force that looked at the need and the relevancy for Bloomington, and found indeed that there was a need. And so we piloted in 87-88 school year. With the success of that pilot, we made a 5-year prediction or timeline to be in all elementary schools in the course of 5 years. We will reach that goal instead of in 93.
we'll reach it next year in 1990.
Having worked with some of the Kids Quest programs, I know how successful they are. Why? Some people might wonder, why should the schools be involved? What were some of your considerations in having it on site at schools?
Some of the considerations were that childcare needs to be affordable for parents, and it also needs to be convenient for parents. It needs to be accessible, and when we looked at what Bloomington had to offer, there was more need than there was space to be filled. And through an informal survey that we did, we found that indeed centers were being full, and I think that really shows through in the rapid growth, with 87% growth in the course of this school year alone, that says there was a need. Also, it makes sense under the fact that Bloomington Schools is really focusing on lifelong learning. And the academics that you learn in the traditional K-4 system is fantastic, but it's not the total of what you will be. And by increasing the kinds of offerings that you have, you develop the total child and you create a stronger citizen.
Was safety one of the major considerations, safety of the child not being home alone?
Oh, definitely. When we looked at the children who were going home alone, there were several issues for that child. One was safety. The other was emotional development and the fears that children feel being home alone. When a parent says, I'll be home at 5 o'clock, and 5 o'clock comes and the parent's not home, that child has a lot of worry about an accident could have happened on the way home, you know, and all these what ifs, the same kinds of what ifs that we as a parent go through when our child is supposed to be at the door and isn't there. So putting that burden on children, and also feeling alone and lonely, and it causes the child not to have a total development, not to develop that social development part that is really very important in people.
Does Kids Quest operate in the summer and school holidays?
Yes, we do. We have a full-day program when school's not in session. We fill it with a variety of activities. In the summer, we go to the beach at least once a week. We take major field trips. We have a Twins game coming up, and we'll go to Valley Fair, which of course is always important. We check out our community a lot. One of the first quests we go on is where's the closest place to buy ice cream, so that we know how long it takes to get there and where that's at. And then we also make availability of services that are in Bloomington, like the library is a place that we will go frequently. We like to integrate with other activities. We have this summer 2 Killebrew baseball teams for children entering 2nd and 3rd grade, which is part of the Park and Rec system. And so we have students that are participating in that. And so anytime we can find something that's already existing that we can hook into, that's what we want to do.
Good, good. What would you say is the most unique component of Kids Quest?
Well, we're really servicing 2 clients. The first client is the parent, and from their perspective, I would say that our flexibility in scheduling, the fact that if you need us 5 days a week, we're there 5 days. If you need us only on Mondays every other week, we're available for that. And so we design the parent designs their contract to meet their work or their childcare needs. And then from there is how we create what their payment should be. And so that allows parents to be able to continue their education or work part-time and not have to pay a full-time child care bill for doing that.
Good. Thank you both for all the insights offered in these exciting programs. We appreciate it.
Beth Hobbs, Director of the Bloomington Neighborhood Center, and Hedy Bolden, Youth Coordinator for the Bloomington Community Education Department, will discuss their programs with Lois Andersen of the Oxboro Community Library in Bloomington.
One hears a great deal these days about neighborhood networks. Bloomington has established 2 pilot neighborhood centers to work toward achieving this goal. Beth, what is your goal in the neighborhood centers?
Our goal is really to take a large city like Bloomington and to break it up into communities where neighbors can interact with each other and address concerns and problems. Right now we have 2 of those, and our goal is certainly to reach 9 in the years ahead. And that would give us about 2,000 to 4,000 residences per each community center.
Would each of those be housed in one of the community schools?
Yes, we are presently using our elementary schools, and we find that since those buildings have already been paid for by taxpayers, that this is a perfect place for them to establish a community center where we can utilize that building not only from 9 to 3 for the children for school, but also in the hours after that and on weekends.
What age groups do you serve there?
Our goal is to serve preschool through the older adult population. Right now we are primarily targeting in on the kindergarten through 4th grade population, and also on our adult population through our crime prevention and neighborhood programs.
Oh, those are run there also.
Yes, they are.
What kinds of enrichment opportunities are offered to Bloomington kids in your program?
We offer a variety of activities after school. Approximately 12 to 24 activities operate each week in each one of our elementary schools. They range from sporting classes to arts classes to dance things, language classes, really a wide variety, and we're looking to offer anything that we either have an instructor for or that children are interested in taking.
Are there fees involved?
All of our classes are fee-based, and however, we do have scholarships available for children who are unable to pay, or we also have reduced fee assistance for those who might need it.
Do you feel these programs help toward solving some of the problems mentioned in the Carnegie report on teaching?
They certainly do. However, our original goal is really to provide children with the opportunity to try activities that are either an extension of what goes on in the classroom, or to try things that are totally different, such as dancing and language. Our teacher-to-child ratio is about 1 to 10, so this really gives children who have an interest in the arts or in science activities an opportunity to really get in there with their hands and really get involved, where sometimes in a classroom situation time doesn't permit that. But certainly when we offer that many classes a week, we are providing an opportunity for children to be in a meaningful activity after school, and so they don't need to be home alone. There are other alternatives, and these classes are relatively low cost.
So it serves the parent as well, because in today's busy society, parents can't always get their children to some of these activities that they might like, right?
That's one of the things that we really find is that a lot of parents want to provide those opportunities, but it's difficult when you're working to find the time to come home and pick your child up and take them wherever so that they might have these opportunities. This gives them, you know, approximately 15, 20 choices a week of things that they can be involved in, and especially when we see fewer children in the neighborhoods. And so a lot of children, even when there's mom or somebody at home after school, don't have a lot of children in the neighborhood to play with after school. So this really provides them a whole social network to operate through.
Is there any danger of kids being overscheduled?
There certainly is, and I think that's a real concern in the suburbs. Many of these classes are fairly low-key. You know, we offer classes like open gym, and we offer a lot of sporting kinds of things, and some of our arts classes are really for people who wish to enhance a skill. Others are just an opportunity to get in there and get your hands full of paint. And so I think it's a neat opportunity for children to do things that can be fun. Some of them are also learning activities, but it also gives children the message that learning can be done through a variety of things. Learning isn't necessarily always taking place 9 to 3, that we can do lots of things after school and at other times. We also plan activities on release days from school.
Great, sounds great. Experts believe that many kids today lack the necessary support from family and society to avoid drugs and AIDS and poverty and suicide and pregnancy and all the other obstacles to become productive thinking citizens. Access to information, ideas, and most importantly, hope can be a powerful catalyst in the lives of children. Hedy, as a community education coordinator, what kinds of opportunities and support do you try to provide for kids in Bloomington?
As a youth enrichment coordinator for the Oak Grove Intermediate School, I am providing the types of programs that I feel will be beneficial to all children, to include enrichment, programs that would include a lot of socialization skills improvement, programs that are non-competitive, such as sports, athletic opportunities, gym time, and cultural enrichment type classes that would help increase the awareness and the understanding of different cultures.
So something for all interest levels.
Yes.
Is this program maybe just an easy out for parents looking for after-school care?
Hopefully not. What we intend to do, or try to do, is to show parents an option that's available for them that is includes a safe environment, provides different types of activities and classes that a particular group, a population of kids in that building would not be able to get otherwise. And it also brings in companies, outside agencies, outside community organizations, and it gives them an opportunity to provide classes that would otherwise be types of classes that the parents would have to drive to. So with activity busing there, where we can bus the kids home at a time that is probably convenient for most working parents, we think that we are giving them offering them an opportunity to not only give them some advantages to having the classes in our building, but also helping out with transportation as well.
Oftentimes young people have a natural inclination to relate to the older population, and in today's mobile society this can't always be achieved in the family. Do you provide opportunities for intergenerational activities?
Yes, we do. Currently we are offering youth service opportunities. And those youth service opportunities provide a time for the 5th and 6th grade children to integrate and socialize with senior citizens. It also gives them an opportunity to learn the history and the cultural awareness of the aging population in Bloomington. What we are trying to do is encourage kids to serve, encourage them to have respect, and also encourage them to communicate with that population that they may not have any interaction with at all.
Are similar programs available at the junior and senior high level?
Youth service opportunities and programming is being coordinated for the next school year, and that would include the junior high school and both senior high schools.
Great. Then, of course, there are many offerings for adults as well. GED, diploma programs, English as a second language, tutoring, all are available under the umbrella community education. It's obvious that there are programs to serve most every educational need in Bloomington. We've barely touched the dimensions of these many opportunities. One thing comes through loud and clear, however, and that is the partnerships with all community organizations is vital for a solution to community problems. Such partnerships save money, time, and energy. Thanks to all of you for your work in that direction. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mother Goose and the Sly Fox. In a clever variation on the folktale, The Wolf and the 7 Little Kids, Chris Conover has changed the main characters to a goose and her 7 little goslings. She has also given Mother Goose a job as a lace maker and has put the illustrations into a Dutch setting. A do-nothing mouse character has been added to the story, and a fox and his 2 cubs have become the villains. One day, Mrs. Goose asks Mr. Mouse to watch the goslings while she goes to market. She warns them not to let any strangers into the house. Mr. Fox comes to the door and asks to come in, but the goslings won't let him in until he fools them by smoothing his voice with flour, disguising his paw with dough, and concealing his dirty feet with new red shoes. Then he catches all but the 7th gosling, who hides in the clock case and is able to tell Mother Goose what happened. The goslings are rescued, and rocks are sewn into the fox's sack, so that when he awakens from his nap and tries to drink from the river, he is pulled into the water and nearly drowns. He and his cubs flee into the forest and are never seen again. And lazy Mr. Mouse is so sorry that he fixes the family a delicious supper. This tale would be enjoyed by children ages 3 through 8. Conover's watercolor paintings with ink outlines are the strongest aspect of the book. Page layouts are varied and well designed. Lace borders frame many of the smaller illustrations, and one picture actually shows a piece of unfinished lace with the bobbins still attached. Larger pictures often burst from their boundaries at some point, extending the action. The 17th century Dutch setting is evoked through windmills, tulips, stair-step architecture, even in the birds' nests, lacy collars and cuffs, Mother Goose's distinctive Dutch cap, and even the blue and white tiles and dishes in her kitchen. The pictures just beg to be looked at again and again. Close observers will notice Mother Pig and her 3 little pigs in one scene. While Fox sleeps, a tiny looking glass held by a bluebird shows Mother Goose returning to the cottage. Colors are bright and sunny when things are going well, and dark and sinister whenever the fox threatens. On the end papers, Conover invites readers to look for characters from many folk tales and legends that she has listed, including Mother Goose and the Sly Fox. If she plans to illustrate all of these tales, we can look forward to many years of picture book pleasure in the future.
Mother Goose and the Sly Fox by Chris Conover, reviewed by Laura Krentz, Southdale Area Library. Thanks for joining us on All About Kids. Please tune in again.
This has been a presentation of Hennepin County Library in conjunction with the Twin Cities Metropolitan Library Service Agency.